Welcome to the law offices of Chris M. Ingram's Immigration Podcast. Today, we are excited to conclude our four-part series on the L-1A and L-1B visas.
Yes, it's been a great series. We've really enjoyed presenting these U.S. visas with you.
We hope you are enjoying them too. The L-1A and L-1B visas offer, really excellent opportunities for business professionals looking to transfer to the U.S.
Either to establish a completely new branch of a foreign company, which is a big step,
or to transfer talent to an existing U.S. branch, bringing in key skills.
And importantly, we've also covered how these visas can provide a pathway towards obtaining a green card.
Okay, so let's dive into part 4. Before we begin, though, we'd really like to thank attorney Chris M. Ingram and his team.
Absolutely. Their diligent work in researching and preparing all the material for this podcast has been invaluable.
It really has. Also, if you find this helpful, please give us a like or follow, and even better, subscribe to this channel.
Yeah, all of those actions, they really do help us a lot, so thank you in advance for that.
And the disclaimer. Please don't consider any content on our channels as providing you with legal advice.
That's crucial. If you would like a free consultation, please go to www.breakthroughusa.com.
Okay, let's get into the wrap-up. We're drawing everything together from this exploration of the L-1A and L-1B visas.
Exactly. We've looked at how they're not just, bureaucratic hurdles, but actually keys to unlocking pretty immense opportunities.
For both businesses and individuals, right?
Yeah.
It's this crucial pathway for professionals wanting to move to the U.S.
Whether that's kicking off a new branch, like we said, or maybe bringing specialized talent into an operation that's already here.
So our mission today is really to pull out the core insights.
Yeah.
How do these visas act as catalysts, for growth, for innovation?
And crucially, how they can lead to that green card status we mentioned.
And all our knowledge here, it comes from the comprehensive research prepared by attorney Chris M. Ingram and his dedicated team.
Right. And what's really fascinating, I think, is understanding the strategic significance. It goes beyond just the nuts and bolts of immigration law.
Oh, so?
Well, our legal team's in-depth study lets us connect those dots. You see the bigger picture implications for talent acquisition, business expansion.
Even the nation's competitive edge.
Definitely. So what does all this mean for you listening in? Maybe you're a business leader or an ambitious professional, or maybe you're just curious about how global talent moves around.
Great. Let's unpack this conclusion then. Let's start high level. Our research from attorney Chris M. Ingram calls the L-1A and L-1B visas strategic enablers for global businesses.
Right.
But what does that actually mean, a strategic enabler? What sets them apart?
Well, think about it this way. Lots of visas can get talent across the border, sure, but the L-1, it lets companies essentially clone a critical piece of their own organizational DNA.
Clone. That's an interesting way to put it.
Yeah, like whether it's an executive-specific leadership style and experience or a specialist's, unique proprietary knowledge, they can implant that directly into the U.S. operation.
Okay, so it's more than just a transfer.
Exactly. It's like a strategic replication.
Yeah.
It avoids a lot of the friction, the learning curves you'd normally get building from scratch. That can save months on critical projects.
So connecting that to the bigger picture, these aren't just transactional permits.
Not at all. They're instruments, tools that businesses actively use to execute their long-term global strategies.
So the L-1A for the executives and managers.
Right. And the L-1B for those specialized knowledge professionals, they let companies put their most critical people where they're needed most often. That's right here in the U.S.
All right.
Think about a multinational maybe wanting to consolidate North American operations or launch a new product line here.
Instead of starting fresh with new hires?
Precisely. Instead of hiring a whole new leadership team or bringing in consultants who don't know the company culture, the L-1A lets them transfer a seasoned exec, someone who gets the company's culture, its goals, how things work internally.
And that preserves institutional knowledge.
Exactly, years of it. And leadership continuity. It ensures that strategic vision stays consistent across borders. It's about seamless expansion, not starting from zero. That's vital in today's fast-moving global markets.
That makes perfect sense. Maintaining that continuity, not just filling a vacancy. And our researchers really emphasize that these visas offer a pathway to obtaining a green card. This is where it gets really interesting for the individuals involved.
It offers them a long-term view, doesn't it, beyond just a temporary assignment.
Yeah, that dual intent feature sounds incredibly significant.
It raises a key question. Why is that dual intent so crucial for both the person and the company?
Okay.
Attorney Chris M. Ingram specifically notes, his research shows, This feature ensures you can plan for permanence from day one.
Plan for permanence from day one.
Wow. Let's break down dual intent. Unlike some other temporary visas where you have to constantly prove you intend to go back home.
Right, like the B1, B2 visitor visa, for example.
Exactly. With L-1 dual intent, you can legitimately hold that temporary visa while also intending to become a permanent resident, apply for a green card. And doing so doesn't mess up your current status.
That must remove a huge layer of uncertainty for the person.
Massive. They don't have to stress about whether making long-term plans, buying a house, putting kids in school will somehow violate their visa status.
It gives them stability, a long-term vision.
Which makes the U.S. much more attractive for top talent. If you're thinking about moving your whole life, your family, knowing there's a clear path to stay permanently, that's a powerful incentive. You can actually invest fully, emotionally, and practically in your new role in life.
And for the companies, is it just as important?
Oh, absolutely. Maybe even more so. It means they can attract and keep these highly skilled people who are willing to commit long-term, people who will fully integrate.
Without dual intent, they might struggle to get top execs or specialists to make that big move.
For sure, because those professionals would face the risk of having to leave again after just a few years. Our research shows dual intent dramatically cuts down on the turnover often seen with temporary work visas.
So it fosters deeper engagement, more impactful work?
Exactly. It allows for strategic, long-term talent retention and investment. It turns what could be just a temporary job into a foundational step for building a lasting U.S. presence.
So yeah, not just a temporary stopgap, it's a foundation. Both the person and the company can invest deeply because there's that clear trajectory.
And that stability, that commitment, it fuels the company's growth here.
Okay, let's zoom in now on the talent aspect specifically. Attorney Chris Ingram's team calls L-1 visas a vital tool in bringing top-tier talent into the U.S. What makes them so vital? There are other ways to bring talent in, aren't there?
There are, but the L-1 is vital because it addresses critical needs in a way other visas might not. Our legal team study points out they directly address skill gaps in key industries and promote cross-border collaboration.
Can you give an example?
Sure. Imagine a specialized manufacturing firm in Germany. They've developed some unique, super efficient assembly process for a new gadget component.
Okay.
They decide to open a U.S. factory. But nobody in the U.S. knows this specific in-house process. The L-1B lets them transfer the lead engineer from Germany who actually designed and perfected it.
Ah, so they bring irreplaceable knowledge.
Exactly. Knowledge that's just not available on the U.S. job market right now. That ensures the new U.S. plant can hit the ground running with the most advanced techniques. Without the L-1B, they'd face huge delays, massive costs trying to recreate that expertise.
Or for the L-1A, the manager executive side.
Right. Think of a global tech company, maybe based in Japan, developing complex AI. They want to launch a U.S. division, access the market, connect with Silicon Valley. The L-1A allows them to transfer their VP of AI development, someone who was instrumental in creating the platform, understands the roadmap inside out. This exec is crucial for unifying operations globally, keeping the product consistent, translating strategy into the U.S. context.
These aren't just generic roles, then?
Definitely not. They often need deep institutional knowledge, highly specific skills, things that are hard, maybe impossible to find immediately in the U.S. market, especially for niche or proprietary tech.
That sounds like it really helps keep the U.S. competitive then, ensuring businesses get the best global talent quickly. Our researchers specifically mentioned these visas ensure that innovative ideas and proven expertise flow freely into the American economy. That's a huge boost for our economic dynamism, a direct pipeline for intellectual capital.
Precisely. And connecting this back to the bigger picture, it's about constantly refreshing that intellectual capital. In a globalized world, innovation doesn't happen in a bubble. Companies need to be agile.
And attorney Chris Ingram highlights the L-1's uncapped nature. That sounds important.
It's a monumental advantage. It means businesses aren't stuck dealing with lotteries or annual limits. Think about the H-1B visa.
Right, the annual cap, the lottery, it's a bottleneck.
Exactly. The L-1 being uncapped has huge practical implications. It lets companies respond swiftly to opportunities.
Like what kind of opportunities?
Well, maybe a new market trend pops up, or there's a sudden need to expand, or a critical project needs specific expertise now, or even reacting to, unexpected global events. sense.
So if a company needs a specialist manager mid-year to launch something new,
That they don't have to wait for the next lottery cycle and hope they win. They can start the L1 process immediately. Bring the talent in precisely when it's needed.
that accessibility must be a game changer, especially in fast-moving sectors like tech.
Totally. Delays can mean lost market share, falling behind competitors, even the failure of a whole strategic initiative. Being uncapped really makes the U.S. a responsive, attractive place for global companies managing their talent.
So it's a bridge for talent, offering
Wow.
speed and responsiveness.
There are just too many visas out there, and I don't know which one is right for us. We need to get the right advice.
Communication is everything, and I just need someone who will listen and guide me to the right visa type, and not make promises that they can't deliver.
There are so many documents. I need someone to walk me through each one. I can't afford to make any mistakes.
If I can just find a lawyer who understands my potential, I know America will be an excellent opportunity for me and my family.
Welcome to the law offices of Chris M. Ingram, and we are your immigration lawyers, and we will be with you every step of the way in your immigration journey.
At the law office of Chris M. Ingram, you get a free consultation so we can understand your needs.
We don't make promises we can't keep. Our success rate speaks for itself.
Join us and access your step-by-step video guides that answer every visa question.
Their platform is amazing. There are videos that instruct you on everything you have to do. It meant we were in control and we could do it in our own time.
They couldn't have been more helpful. They answered every question that I had, and it was easy to see they were the lawyers for me.
I couldn't believe it with my busy schedule. They always had time to talk to me and put me at ease. That's what I like about them.
So go on our website and get your free consultation now, and your new life is about to begin.
Ask me.
We did it! We did it! We did it!
Oh my God, I got my visa! Yes, I did it!
The research gives a powerful example. In sectors like AI and clean energy, L-1 transferees often introduce cutting-edge techniques developed abroad, accelerating domestic advancements.
Yeah.
So this isn't just about filling a job opening, is it? It's about bringing in whole new methods, new perspectives, breakthroughs that might not even exist here yet, kind of like leapfrogging development stages.
And that raises a really important question. What's the broader sort of profound impact of bringing these diverse perspectives into U.S. workplaces?
Right.
It's way more than just specific skills or technologies. It's about introducing new ways of thinking, different approaches to solving problems, international business insights. All of that really enriches the domestic scene.
Can you flesh that out a bit?
Sure. Take an L1B specialist from a company's R&D lab in, say, Sweden. They've been working on novel battery materials, maybe a unique electrolyte that boosts energy density.
Right.
When that expert transfers here, they don't just bring the formula. They bring their whole R&D method, insights from different regulatory setups, maybe a unique take on market applications. That can spark totally new research directions here.
Or an L1A executive.
Maybe an L1A exec from South Korea who's mastered a unique agile management style for software development. They bring that practice to a U.S. team, leading to faster product cycles, more adaptive structures here.
So the acceleration in AI or clean energy that the legal research mentions, that's a direct, tangible benefit for the whole economy.
Absolutely. These transferees are often pioneers. They carry a wealth of knowledge from different global markets. It sparks this cross-pollination that strengthens our entire innovation ecosystem. It's not just helping one company, it elevates the capabilities of the whole U.S. industry, driving national competitiveness.
That's a profound point. Not just individual contributions, but cross-pollination fueling the whole ecosystem. This knowledge exchange makes things more dynamic, more competitive, benefiting the whole nation. Okay, this sounds like a win-win. So how do L1 visas translate directly into company growth and, maybe more broadly, into U.S. job creation? Our legal research makes a strong case here.
Yeah, and it can seem counterintuitive to some, right? That bringing in foreign talent actually creates U.S. jobs.
Let's explore that connection.
Okay, this is where the economic impact gets really clear and maybe surprising. The study notes the L1 helps companies grow by preserving continuity and institutional knowledge. We touched on this.
Like the executive who knows the company DNA.
Exactly. Launching a new U.S. division, moving into a new market segment, bringing in that L-1A executive who knows the culture, the processes, the goals. It's invaluable. It safeguards years of expertise and applies it directly here.
Compared to the alternative.
Hiring a totally new U.S. team from scratch. That means time, money for recruiting, onboarding, training, plus the risk of cultural clashes or just a slower grasp of what makes the company tick.
So the L-1A minimizes disruption, reduces the learning curve.
Drastically.
Right.
It lets the U.S. entity get up to speed fast and contribute to the global goals. Without that deep knowledge and continuity, new divisions might flounder, slow growth, mistakes, even failure. That stable foundation is what enables the growth that follows.
And our team's research provides specific examples that really drive this home. Tangible growth from these contributions, like an L-1A exec overseeing a new division launch, leading to more revenue, more market share. That's a clear expansion.
Or an L-1B specialist training local teams on some proprietary process, boosting productivity. That's a direct upgrade for U.S. employees' capabilities.
Okay, those are direct contributions. But what about the ripple effect?
This is where it gets fascinating. Our researchers highlight that this initial company growth sparked by the L-1 holder translates directly into job creation. Studies show L-1 visa holders contribute to hiring more U.S. workers as the company scales.
So it's not a zero-sum game. One L-1 visa doesn't just replace a U.S. worker.
Not at all. It's a multiplier effect. When a company successfully launches that new division, or boosts productivity, or expands its market because of these strategic L-1 transfers, that success requires more people.
More hands on deck.
Exactly. New sales teams, marketing folks, production staff, admin support, customer service. All those roles become necessary as the U.S. operation grows. The L-1 transfer is the catalyst for that broader growth, which then needs a larger local workforce.
Can you give us an even more concrete example of that multiplier? It's sometimes hard to picture how one person leads to many jobs.
Absolutely. The legal research paints a clear picture. Imagine a foreign company sends an L-1A executive here to set up a new software development center.
Okay.
That transferred manager, maybe in the first year, builds a core team of, say, 20 locals, hiring U.S. software engineers, project managers, admin staff.
Right.
Now, as that center gets traction, wins contracts, develops successful products, that team of 20 could easily multiply to hundreds even as operations mature, requiring more and more U.S. employees to handle the growth.
So the initial manager isn't just managing themselves. They're building a whole unit.
Precisely. And the impact goes beyond just direct hires. The economic terms are significant. Each L-1 approval can generate multiple jobs in supporting roles, stimulating local economies.
Supporting roles? Like what?
Think about the whole ecosystem. A new division needs office space jobs for real estate agents, maybe construction. It needs supplies, furniture, catering, transport, IT support, all usually provided by local businesses, meaning more local hiring.
Indirect effects.
Right. Plus, this increased commercial activity boosts local housing, retail, services.
Yeah.
They all see more demand as these new operations get established and grow, all initially powered by that L-1 transfer.
Right.
It's basic economics. Business expands, generates more revenue, needs more labor.
That's huge. So it really isn't just the L-1 holder, it's the jobs created around them, directly and indirectly.
Exactly.
And attorney Chris Ingram's clients, according to our team study, often report these L-1 transfers not only boost immediate output, but also foster long-term sustainability. How does that work?
It's about that knowledge transfer again. As trained U.S. employees take on advanced roles, creating a ripple effect of employment and skill development.
So it's not just present growth, but future capacity building, upskilling the American workforce.
Yes, it's like a virtuous cycle. Foreign expertise helps cultivate domestic talent. It builds enduring value and a stronger U.S. workforce.
How did that skill diffusion happen?
Well, that L-1B specialist training local employees on a complex process or system, those U.S. workers gain valuable cutting-edge skills. It enhances their own professional toolkit.
So over time, those trained U.S. employees can move up.
Exactly. They can take on more advanced, higher-paying roles within the company. It creates this internal pipeline of skilled domestic talent. That long-term sustainability is critical for the company staying competitive and continuing to grow.
So the initial investment in the L-1 person pays ongoing dividends through a more capable U.S. workforce.
Right. It's an investment in human capital, benefiting everyone in the long run.
Okay, so L-1s bring talent, foster growth, create jobs. But where does the U.S. itself fit in? Why here? Our legal team's research describes the U.S. as Fertile ground for innovation and growth. What makes it so fertile?
Connecting that to the bigger picture, it's really the unique ecosystem the U.S. offers. It acts like this powerful magnet for global talent and entrepreneurs.
What are the key parts of that ecosystem?
Our attorneys point to a robust ecosystem of venture capital, world-class universities, and diverse markets. And it's not just that these things exist separately.
They work together.
Yes, it's a synergistic environment. They actively support and fuel each other, creating this unparalleled space for innovation.
So the sheer amount of venture capital means ideas can get funded.
Exactly. Even early-stage ideas can often find the backing they need to grow. And universities like Stanford, MIT, they're not just schools, they're research hubs, generating IP, producing highly skilled graduates constantly.
And the diverse U.S. market.
It provides huge opportunities for testing, tweaking, and scaling new products and services. Innovators can find their product market fit relatively quickly here. This whole combination just fosters a culture of risk-taking and rapid development.
Plus, there's specific incentives too, right? The research mentions things like tax credits for R&D and access to innovation hubs like Silicon Valley or Boston.
Yeah.
Those are real, tangible advantages.
Absolutely. And this whole environment, it attracts ambitious entrepreneurs who use L-1 visas to tap into these resources. It really does encourage risk-taking and collaboration in a way you don't see many other places.
You finally got your family together on a H-1B. Your American dream begins. Your employer files for your EB-2 green card, but the wait is over 11 years. As the years go by, frustration grows, and now the company is talking about layoffs. This could be the end of your American dream. You search for help, but luckily, you land on BreakthroughUSA.com. They listen, reassured you, and built your EB-1 case with precision. Then one day, a notification buzzes, EB-1 approved. With your EB-1 green card, your entire family can breathe.
I have got my visa. I got my visa.
That's why the law offices of Chris M. Ingram is trusted. Your future shouldn't wait. Let's talk EB-1.
What are the next steps?
Need help with your visa? Book your free consultation now at www.breakthroughUSA.com and let us take care of you.
So the capital gets ideas off the ground quickly.
Right, allowing for rapid prototyping, quick market entry. Proximity to universities means research partnerships, joint ventures, access to fresh talent.
And being in those hubs like the Valley or Boston.
You get this incredible concentration of innovators, engineers, business leaders. It creates a collaborative atmosphere where ideas get shared, refined, and brought to market incredibly fast. It's a network effect, amplifying everyone's efforts.
So this raises an important question, as the research puts it. How does this actually translate into concrete breakthroughs, things that really impact society?
Good question.
The research gives examples that really bring it to life. An L-1A startup founder, maybe, can secure funding to prototype breakthroughs, turning an idea into a real product. We see that in biotech, right? A lead scientist transfers here for specific labs and capital.
Exactly. Or an L&B expert might partner with U.S. labs to refine technologies. They leverage our advanced research facilities, local expertise, to perfect something they brought over. It's not just basic research. It's practical application, getting impactful solutions to market faster.
What's fascinating here, the research notes, is the role L1 holders play amid big global challenges like climate change and digital transformation.
Right.
The U.S. emphasis on entrepreneurship makes it ideal for L1 holders to thrive, turning ideas into scalable ventures that benefit society.
Yeah.
How does that synergy work?
Let's take climate change. Maybe an L1B specialist comes from a foreign subsidiary with a breakthrough tech for capturing CO2 directly from the air.
Okay, a scalable tech.
They transfer via L1. Immediately, they can plug into a network of VCs focused on green tech, maybe collaborate with a U.S. university lab specializing in atmospheric chemistry, pilot their tech in a market with strong interest in climate solutions.
So they're not just bringing an idea, but a solution to a global problem.
And the U.S. ecosystem lets them scale it rapidly, or think digital transformation. An L-1A exec might set up a U.S. AI ethics research center for their global company, tapping into America's diverse talent and legal expertise to shape responsible AI globally.
These aren't just business opportunities then.
No, they're often profound contributions to tackling huge challenges, creating scalable ventures with positive societal impact. It's this feedback loop. Global talent comes, innovates here, and contributes solutions that go way beyond just the company's bottom line.
So, facing intense global competition, these visas are crucial for the U.S. to stay ahead by importing talent that sparks creativity and economic vitality.
Yeah.
It sounds like they're essential for maintaining U.S. leadership.
Absolutely essential. It's not just economic leadership, but leadership as a hub for groundbreaking solutions and global progress. They play a much bigger role than just filling a specific job.
It seems clear they're a strategic asset.
Definitely. The global race for talent and innovation is fierce. Nations everywhere are competing hard for the best minds, the most promising ventures. By making the strategic transfer of internal talent easy through L-1 visas, the U.S. ensures it stays a top destination for companies wanting to expand, innovate, bring their critical projects here.
That steady influx of diverse expertise, fresh perspectives.
It's a cornerstone of American economic vitality. And our continued leadership in tech, research, entrepreneurship, it's really a proactive strategy to keep that essential edge in a world that's changing incredibly fast. It translates directly into new industries, new solutions, and ultimately a stronger economy for everyone.
As we bring this deep dive to a close then, it really is clear. The L-1A and L-1B visas, there's so much more than just immigration categories.
Far more.
They seem indispensable for businesses looking to harness global talent, drive serious growth, generate U.S. jobs, and fuel innovation right here in the dynamic U.S. landscape.
And they facilitate not just those immediate transfers, but as attorney Chris M. Ingram's team's research shows, they pave the way for permanent contributions too.
Which really aligns with America's long tradition of welcoming ingenuity, doesn't it?
It really does. And this deep dive into the legal research from attorney Chris Ingram and his team, it underscores a critical point. Strategically integrating international talent using tools like the L-1 isn't just a nice-to-have benefit.
It's a necessity.
It's a necessity for sustained economic vitality and leadership in this globally competitive world. And that raises an interesting question for you, the listener. How might these ideas, strategic talent flow, cross-border collaboration, apply to challenges or opportunities in your own field?
Yeah.
The potential for global talent to transform local economies is just immense. And the L-1 visa is such a powerful example of that in action. How moving key people can spark widespread economic and innovative growth.
We certainly hope this deep dive has offered you some powerful insights, maybe spark some new connections in how you think about global business and immigration.
We really want to extend our sincere thanks again to attorney Chris M. Ingram and his dedicated team for preparing all this in-depth research for our presentation.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for being with us today. We hope you gained a lot from this discussion. Please do subscribe to or follow this channel.
Yeah, it really can significantly increase the reach of this podcast and help us help more people. We'd greatly appreciate your support.
Leave us a comment if you can. Also follow us on YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook, X, and Instagram. We're growing rapidly there thanks to our amazing social media team.
They're doing great work. And again, a huge thank you to attorney Chris Ingram and his dedicated team for preparing all this material.
And finally, if you, or perhaps a friend or a family member would like a free consultation, you can visit our website.
That's www.breakthroughUSA.com. You can schedule an appointment right there.
We'd love to hear from you and help you if we can. Bye for now.
Bye-bye.